The launch, humanity's bold step. The massive fusion-powered starship Prometheus hung silently in Earth orbit, its sleek hull gleaming in the sunlight. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood at the viewport of the command deck, her dark eyes scanning the bustling activity outside as final preparations were made for humanity's most ambitious journey yet. Status report, Elena called out, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. Her second-in-command, Commander Akira Tanaka, looked up from his console. "All systems are go, Captain. The crew is aboard, and we're awaiting your final order." Elena nodded, taking a deep breath. This mission was the culmination of decades of scientific advancement and international cooperation. The goal, to establish humanity's first extrasolar colony on a potentially habitable world orbiting Proxima Centauri, our nearest stellar neighbor. As Elena prepared to give the launch order, her mind drifted to the events that had led to this moment. Climate change and resource depletion had pushed Earth to the brink, forcing humanity to look to the stars for survival. The Prometheus project had united the world's nations in an unprecedented show of collaboration, pooling resources and expertise to build a ship capable of crossing the vast gulf between stars. The ship itself was a marvel of engineering. Powered by cutting-edge fusion reactors and employing revolutionary propulsion technology, it could achieve a significant fraction of light speed. The journey would still take decades, but it was a far cry from the centuries or millennia required by previous designs. "Attention all hands," Elena's voice rang out over the ship-wide comm. "This is your captain speaking. In a few moments, we will embark on the greatest journey in human history. Each of you represents the best humanity has to offer: scientists, engineers, farmers, doctors, and more. Together, we carry the hopes and dreams of our species to the stars." She paused, letting her words sink in. "I won't lie to you. The road ahead will be long and fraught with challenges we can't even imagine. But I have faith in this crew, in this ship, and in the unbreakable spirit of humanity. We will face whatever the universe throws at us, and we will prevail." A chorus of cheers erupted throughout the ship. Elena allowed herself a small smile before continuing. "Prepare for launch sequence. May fortune favor the bold." As the countdown began, Elena thought of her family back on Earth, her parents, siblings, and young nephew. She wouldn't see them again for decades, if ever. But the sacrifice was necessary. The future of humanity depended on the success of this mission. The ship's engines roared to life, a contained fury of nuclear fusion pushing against the fabric of space itself. G-forces pressed Elena and her crew into their seats as the Prometheus broke free of Earth's gravitational embrace. As they accelerated away from their home planet, the crew watched in awe as the blue marble that had nurtured their species for millions of years grew smaller and smaller. For many, it was a bittersweet moment, a simultaneous farewell to everything they had known and a greeting to the infinite possibilities that lay ahead. Days turned into weeks as the Prometheus pushed deeper into the solar system. The ship's revolutionary propulsion system allowed them to reach speeds that would have been considered impossible just a generation ago. They passed the orbit of Mars in a matter of days, the red planet nothing more than a bright dot in the cosmic sea. As they approached the asteroid belt, Elena ordered the ship's defensive systems to be on high alert. While the chances of a collision were slim, the consequences could be catastrophic. The Prometheus glided through the region with grace, its advanced sensors and AI systems working in perfect harmony to plot a safe course. It was as they cleared the asteroid belt that the first major challenge of their journey presented itself. A massive solar flare erupted from the sun, sending a wave of charged particles hurtling towards them at near-light speed. "Radiation alert," shouted the science officer, Dr. Yuki Saito. "We have less than 10 minutes before it hits us." Elena's mind raced through their options. The ship's shielding was robust, but a direct hit from a flare of this magnitude could fry their electronics and endanger the crew. "Tanaka, can we outrun it?" Elena asked, knowing the answer even as the words left her mouth. Akira shook his head. Negative, Captain. Even at maximum acceleration, we'd never clear the danger zone in time. Elena's eyes narrowed as she considered their predicament. Then an idea struck her. Dr. Sato, what if we use the ship's magnetic field generators to create a makeshift magnetosphere? Like Earth's, but on a smaller scale. Yuki's eyes widened as she ran the calculations. It's possible, but we'd have to reroute power from non-essential systems and push the generators well beyond their normal operating parameters. Do it, Elena ordered. Tanaka, work with engineering to make it happen. We've got 8 minutes to save this ship and our mission. The next few minutes were a flurry of activity as the crew raced against time. Engineers worked feverishly to reconfigure the ship's systems, pushing the magnetic field generators to their limits. As the wave of charged particles approached, Elena could feel the tension on the bridge rising to a fever pitch. Brace for impact, she called out as the countdown reached 0. The ship shuddered as the solar flare struck, battering against their hastily constructed magnetic shield. Sparks flew from overloaded consoles, and for a heart-stopping moment, Elena feared they had failed. But as the seconds ticked by and the ship held together, a sense of cautious optimism began to spread through the crew. When the danger finally passed, a cheer erupted on the bridge. Damage report, Elena called out, allowing herself to relax slightly. Minor systems damage, but nothing critical, Tanaka reported. The magnetic shield worked, Captain, was still on course. Elena nodded, a sense of pride welling up inside her. They had faced their first major crisis and emerged victorious through quick thinking and teamwork. It was a good omen for the challenges that lay ahead. As the Prometheus continued its journey out of the solar system, leaving behind the familiar warmth of Sol, Elena addressed the crew once more. Today, we proved that humanity's greatest strength lies not in our technology, but in our ability to adapt and overcome. We faced the fury of our own star and emerged unscathed. Let this be a reminder of what we can achieve when we work together. She paused, looking out at the star-studded blackness that surrounded them. Our journey has only just begun, and I have no doubt that greater challenges await us. But I also have no doubt that together, we will meet those challenges head-on and triumph. As the Prometheus sailed into the unknown, its crew stood united, ready to carry the torch of human exploration into the cosmic frontier. The stars beckoned, and humanity had answered the call. First contact, unexpected allies. 5 years into their journey, the Prometheus had settled into a rhythm. The initial excitement of launch had given way to the steady routine of deep space travel. The ship's systems hummed efficiently, recycling air and water, while hydroponic gardens provided fresh food to supplement their stored supplies. Captain Elena Rodriguez sat in her quarters, reviewing the latest sensor data. They were well beyond the heliopause now, truly in interstellar space. The stars burned cold and distant, unmoved by their passage. A sudden alarm shattered the calm. Elena rushed to the bridge, her heart racing. Report, she barked as she entered. Dr. Yuki Sato, hunched over her console, looked up with wide eyes. Captain, we're detecting an anomaly directly in our path. It's like nothing we've ever seen before. On the main view screen, a shimmering distortion warped the starfield. It pulsed with an otherworldly energy, growing larger as they approached. Full stop, Elena ordered. Bring us to a halt relative to that, whatever it is. As the Prometheus slowed, the anomaly seemed to react. It flared brightly, then coalesced into a sleek, silver shape. A ship, but like no human vessel ever conceived. Are we seeing this? Commander Akira Tanaka whispered, his usual composure shaken. Before Elena could respond, a beam of light shot out from the alien craft, enveloping the Prometheus. Panic gripped the crew as systems throughout the ship began to shut down. We're being scanned, Yuki reported, her fingers flying over her console. And, wait, I'm receiving a transmission. It's in English. Elena's eyebrows shot up. On screen, she ordered, steeling herself for humanity's first contact with an alien intelligence. The view screen flickered, and a face appeared. It was undeniably alien, with large, almond-shaped eyes, no visible nose, and skin that shimmered with an iridescent quality. Yet there was an unmistakable intelligence in those eyes, and something else, curiosity. "Greetings, travelers," the alien spoke, its voice melodious and androgynous. "I am Zarek of the Galactic Consortium. We've been expecting you." A stunned silence fell over the bridge. Elena found her voice first. "I am Captain Elena Rodriguez of the Earth ship Prometheus. How is it you speak our language? And what do you mean, you've been expecting us?" Zarek's expression shifted in what might have been a smile. "We've been monitoring your world for some time, learning your languages and cultures. As for expecting you, let's just say your species has been a topic of great interest in galactic circles." Elena's mind reeled. They weren't alone in the universe. More than that, they'd been watched, studied. "Why reveal yourselves now?" she asked. "Because you've taken your first steps into the wider galaxy," Zarek replied, "and because you're headed into grave danger." A murmur ran through the bridge crew. Elena leaned forward. "What kind of danger?" Zarek's expression grew serious. "The region of space you're entering is under quarantine. A highly aggressive species known as the Vorkath claims this territory. They destroy any ships that enter without hesitation." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. Their mission, the future of humanity, was in jeopardy. "Why tell us this? Why not just let us fly to our doom?" "Because we see potential in your species," Zarek said. "Your journey, this ship, they speak of a determination and ingenuity that the galaxy needs. The consortium believes you could be valuable allies in the struggles to come." It was almost too much to process. Aliens, galactic politics, looming threats, none of this had been part of their mission parameters. Elena took a deep breath, centering herself. "What are you proposing?" "An alliance," Zarek said simply. "We can provide you with technology to upgrade your ship, to give you a fighting chance against the Vorkath. In return, we ask for your help in dealing with this threat to galactic peace." Elena looked around at her crew. She saw fear in their eyes, yes, but also excitement, curiosity, and determination. They had left Earth prepared to face the unknown. This was simply a greater unknown than they had anticipated. "We'll need time to discuss this," Elena said carefully. "This is a decision that affects not just our crew, but potentially the future of our entire species." Zarek nodded. "Of course, we'll remain nearby. When you're ready to talk further, simply hail us." As the transmission ended, the bridge erupted in excited chatter. Elena raised her hand for silence. "I know we all have 1,000 questions," she said, "but right now we need to focus. Department heads, I want full reports on our current status and capabilities within the hour. We need to know exactly what we're bringing to this potential alliance." As the crew dispersed to their tasks, Elena remained on the bridge, staring at the alien ship visible through the view screen. They had come so far, pushing the boundaries of human achievement. Now, they stood on the precipice of something even greater and potentially more dangerous. Over the next few days, the Prometheus buzzed with activity. Engineers pored over the alien schematics they'd been provided, marveling at the advanced technology. Scientists debated the implications of the Galactic Consortium's existence and the threat posed by the Vorkath. The hydroponics team even began experimenting with alien seed samples, hoping to diversify their food supply for the long journey ahead. Elena spent long hours in discussion with her senior staff, weighing the risks and potential benefits of the proposed alliance. The danger posed by the Vorkath was real. Their long-range sensors had already detected evidence of destroyed ships in the region ahead. But allying with an unknown alien faction carried its own risks. Finally, after nearly a week of deliberation, Elena made her decision. She called the senior staff to the conference room, her expressions solemn. "We left Earth as explorers and potential colonists," she began. "We knew we would face challenges, but nothing could have prepared us for this. We now stand at a crossroads not just for our mission, but for all of humanity. She paused, looking each of them in the eye. I decided to accept the consortium's offer of alliance. The technology they're offering could be the key to our survival, and the survival of Earth itself if the Vorkath threat is as serious as they claim. There were nods of agreement around the table. Commander Tanaka spoke up. It's a risk, but staying the course would be even riskier. At least this way, we have a fighting chance. Dr. Saito added, the scientific opportunities alone are staggering. We could advance human knowledge by centuries in a matter of months. Elena nodded, agreed, but we must proceed with caution. We'll accept their help, but we'll also keep our guard up. Trust, but verify. Humanity's future may depend on how we handle this situation. With the decision made, Elena returned to the bridge to hail a consortium ship. As Zarek's face appeared on the screen, she took a deep breath. We accept your offer of alliance, she said firmly. The crew of the Prometheus stands ready to join you in facing the challenges ahead. Zarek's expression brightened. Excellent. We'll begin the technology transfer immediately. Captain Rodriguez, I believe this marks the beginning of a new era for your species and for the galaxy at large. As the two ships began the delicate dance of docking, Elena couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and trepidation. They had come seeking a new world for humanity. Instead, they had found a new universe of possibilities and dangers. The Prometheus's journey had taken an unexpected turn, but its mission remained the same, to secure a future for humanity among the stars. Now, with alien allies at their side, that future seemed brighter and stranger than ever before. The cosmic challenge. The integration of consortium technology into the Prometheus was nothing short of miraculous. Over the course of several weeks, the human vessel underwent a transformation that pushed the boundaries of what its crew thought possible. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood in the newly upgraded engine room, marveling at the pulsing core of the antimatter reactor that had replaced their fusion drive. Chief Engineer Malik Hassan ran his hands over the sleek control panel, his eyes wide with wonder. It's incredible, Captain, Malik said, shaking his head in disbelief. We're looking at energy outputs that make our old systems look like children's toys. And the efficiency. We could cross the galaxy in a fraction of the time we originally planned for our journey to Proxima Centauri. Elena nodded, feeling a mix of awe and unease. The power at their fingertips was both exhilarating and terrifying. What about weapons and defenses? She asked. Malik's expression grew serious. The upgrades are substantial. We've got energy shields that can withstand impacts that would have vaporized us before. And the weapons. He paused, searching for words. Let's just say we're no longer defenseless. As they made their way back to the bridge, Elena reflected on how quickly things had changed. The crew had adapted admirably to the new technology, throwing themselves into training and simulations with gusto. But there was an undercurrent of tension that couldn't be ignored. They were preparing for war, and everyone knew it. On the bridge, Commander Tanaka and Dr. Saito were deep in conversation with Zarek, whose holographic form hovered above the central console. They looked up as Elena entered. Captain, Zarek greeted her, its iridescent skin shimmering even in holographic form. We were just discussing the next phase of our plan. Elena took her seat, gesturing for them to continue. Zarek's expression grew serious. The Vorkath have noticed our presence in this sector. They're mobilizing a fleet to investigate. We need to act quickly if we're to have any hope of stopping them. A holographic map of the sector sprang to life, showing the positions of various ships and planetary systems. A cluster of red dots representing the Vorkath fleet was moving steadily towards their position. What exactly are we up against? Elena asked, studying the map intently. Zarek's form shimmered as it manipulated the hologram, zooming in on one of the red dots. A fearsome ship appeared, bristling with weapons. Its design was angular and predatory, a stark contrast to the sleek lines of the consortium vessels. The Vorkath are a warrior race, Zarek explained. They view all other species as either potential slaves or targets for extermination. Their technology is on par with ours, but they have numbers on their side, and they're utterly ruthless in combat. Elena felt a chill run down her spine. This was far beyond anything they had prepared for when leaving Earth. But as she looked around at her crew, she saw determination in their eyes. They had come too far to turn back now. "What's our strategy?" she asked. Zarek manipulated the hologram again, highlighting a nearby star system. "We've detected unusual energy readings from the third planet of this system. We believe the Vorkath may have a forward base there. If we can strike it before their main fleet arrives, we might be able to throw them into disarray." Commander Tanaka leaned forward, studying the tactical display. "A preemptive strike, it's risky, but it could work. We'd need to move fast and hit hard." Dr. Sato chimed in, her voice tinged with concern. "What about the ethical implications? We'd be initiating hostilities against a species we've never even met." Elena considered this. It was a valid point. They had left Earth as explorers and potential colonists, not soldiers. But the stakes had changed dramatically. "The Vorkath have already made their intentions clear," she said finally. "If we don't act, we're not just risking our mission, but potentially the safety of Earth itself. We have a responsibility to protect our home, even from threats they don't know exist yet." She stood, addressing the entire bridge crew. "I know this isn't what any of us signed up for, but we're here now, and we have the power to make a difference. We'll strike at this Vorkath base, not as aggressors, but as defenders of peace in this sector of the galaxy." A chorus of affirmatives rang out across the bridge. Elena turned back to Zarek. "We're in. What's our next move?" The alien's expression was unreadable, but there was a note of approval in its voice. "We'll need to approach the planet under stealth. Your ship's new cloaking technology should allow us to get close undetected. Once in range, we'll launch a coordinated strike on their key facilities." Over the next few hours, the Prometheus and the consortium vessels prepared for battle. Weapons were charged, shields were reinforced, and the crew ran through combat drills with a mix of nervousness and determination. As they approached the Vorkath-held planet, Elena stood on the bridge, watching the alien world grow larger on the viewscreen. It was a harsh, rocky planet, its surface scarred by what looked like massive mining operations. "Life signs?" she asked. Dr. Sato consulted her readings. "Minimal indigenous life, mostly Vorkath signatures concentrated around those large structures." Elena nodded. At least they wouldn't be risking innocent lives. "Take us in," she ordered. "Weapons hot, but hold fire until my command." The Prometheus glided silently through space, its advanced cloaking technology rendering it invisible to the Vorkath sensors. Alongside them, the consortium ships moved into position, a deadly ballet of advanced technology. As they entered orbit, alarms suddenly blared across the bridge. "We've been detected," Tanaka shouted, Vorkath ships rising to intercept. Elena's mind raced. Their element of surprise was gone, but they couldn't back down now. "All ships engage," she ordered. "Target their weapon systems and propulsion. Let's show them what humanity can do." The space around the planet erupted into chaos as energy beams and antimatter torpedoes crisscrossed the void. The Prometheus shuddered under enemy fire, but its new shields held firm. Elena watched the tactical display, calling out orders as the battle unfolded. The human crew worked in perfect synergy with their alien allies, their months of training paying off in this crucible of combat. As the fight raged on, Elena couldn't help but marvel at the surreal nature of their situation. Here they were, millions of light years from Earth, engaged in a battle that would help shape the future of the galaxy. It was far from what they had envisioned when they set out on their journey, but in that moment, Elena knew they were exactly where they needed to be. The fate of not just their mission, but possibly their entire species, hung in the balance, and the crew of the Prometheus was determined to rise to the challenge, no matter the cost. Human ingenuity unleashed. The battle raged on, a dazzling and terrifying display of advanced technology. The Prometheus, once a vessel of peaceful exploration, now danced through the void, its weapons blazing against the Vorkath threat. Captain Elena Rodriguez gripped her command chair, her eyes darting between tactical displays and the chaos visible through the viewscreen. "Status report," she barked as the ship shuddered under another impact. Commander Tanaka's fingers flew over his console. "Shields holding at 68%, Captain. We've taken out 3 of their smaller vessels, but their main battleship is still giving us hell." Dr. Sato chimed in, her voice tense. "The consortium ships are taking heavy damage. We're outgunned, Captain." Elena's mind raced. Despite their technological upgrades, the Vorkath's superior numbers were beginning to tell. They needed a game-changer, and fast. Suddenly, an idea struck her. It was risky, borderline insane, but it just might work. "Malik," she called to the chief engineer over the comm, "how quickly can you reconfigure our antimatter reactor to create a controlled overload?" There was a pause, then Malik's startled voice came through. "A controlled overload? Captain, that's incredibly dangerous. We'd be risking a chain reaction that could vaporize us and half this solar system." "I know the risks," Elena replied grimly. "But if we can channel that energy outward, create a massive electromagnetic pulse." Understanding dawned in Malik's voice. "It could knock out the Vorkath ship's systems. But Captain, the precision required, one miscalculation and we're all atoms." Elena looked around the bridge, seeing the determination in her crew's eyes. "Can you do it?" There was another pause, then Malik's voice came back, steely with resolve. "Give me 5 minutes." Elena nodded, then opened a channel to the consortium ships. "Zarek, we have a plan, but we need you to draw the Vorkath fleet closer to us. Can you do that?" The alien's voice crackled through, tinged with curiosity. "A bold move, Captain. We'll do what we can." The next 5 minutes were the longest of Elena's life. The Prometheus took hit after hit as it held position, while the consortium ships darted and weaved, slowly luring the Vorkath fleet into a tighter formation. "Ready, Captain." Malik's voice finally came through. "But we'll only have a few seconds once I initiate the overload. After that, we either vent the energy or, well, you know." Elena took a deep breath. This was it. Everything hinged on this moment. "All hands. Brace for impact. Malik, on my mark, now." The ship's lights dimmed as power was diverted to the antimatter reactor. Elena could almost feel the energy building, a palpable force that set her teeth on edge. "Energy at critical levels." Malik shouted. "We need to vent now." "Do it," Elena ordered. For a split second, nothing happened. Then, a blinding light erupted from the Prometheus, expanding outward in a massive sphere of pure energy. The view screen automatically darkened to protect the crew's eyes. As the light faded, Elena leaned forward anxiously. "Report." Dr. Sato's voice was filled with awe. "Captain, it worked. The Vorkath fleet, their systems are completely fried. They're dead in space." A cheer erupted on the bridge, quickly stifled as everyone remembered the seriousness of the situation. Elena allowed herself a small smile before turning her attention back to the task at hand. "Hail the consortium ships," she ordered. "Let's finish this." The next hour was a flurry of activity as they secured the disabled Vorkath vessels and rounded up the survivors. The consortium's scientific teams swarmed over the alien technology, eager to learn its secrets. As the adrenaline of battle faded, Elena found herself in a quiet moment on the observation deck, staring out at the star-strewn void. Zarek's holographic form shimmered into existence beside her. "That was unexpected," the alien said, its tone a mix of admiration and puzzlement. "In all our simulations, we never conceived of using an antimatter reactor in such a way. Your species continues to surprise us." Elena nodded, still processing the events of the day. Humanity has a long history of finding unconventional solutions to seemingly impossible problems. It's gotten us into trouble sometimes, but it's also our greatest strength. Zarek was silent for a moment, then spoke softly. Perhaps that is why the cosmic architects chose your species. Elena turned, her brow furrowed. The cosmic architects. What do you mean? The alien seemed to hesitate, then continued. There is much we haven't told you, Captain. The Vorkath are more than just a hostile species. They are a test, one that has been laid before many civilizations throughout the galaxy's history. Elena's mind reeled. A test by whom? We don't know, Zarek admitted. The cosmic architects, as we call them, are beings of immense power and incomprehensible motives. They seed planets with life, guide the evolution of sentient species, and then they test them. The Vorkath are their instruments, a force of destruction meant to challenge emerging civilizations. Elena struggled to process this information. And humanity? Where do we fit into this? Zarek's form shimmered, its colors shifting in what Elena had come to recognize as excitement. You, Captain, and your crew have just passed the first stage of the test. Your solution to the Vorkath threat was unique, unexpected. It proves that humanity has the potential to bring something new to the galactic stage. Elena felt a weight settle on her shoulders, heavier than any she had borne before. What happens now? Now, Zarek said, its voice filled with a mix of anticipation and concern, we prepare for the next stage. The Vorkath were just the beginning. The true challenges lie ahead. As Elena stared out at the stars, she realized that their mission had fundamentally changed. They had set out to find a new home for humanity. Instead, they had stumbled into a cosmic game of evolution and survival, with the fate of not just Earth, but possibly the entire galaxy hanging in the balance. The Prometheus and its crew had proven themselves in their first major test. But as Zarek's words sank in, Elena knew that the greatest challenges and the greatest opportunities still lay ahead. Humanity's journey among the stars was just beginning, and she was determined to see it through, no matter what the cosmic architects had in store for them. The final push. The weeks following the battle with the Vorkath were a whirlwind of activity aboard the Prometheus. As the ship underwent repairs and further upgrades, the crew threw themselves into intense training and preparation. The revelation of the cosmic architects and their grand test had fundamentally altered their mission, infusing every action with a new sense of urgency and purpose. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood in the newly expanded hydroponics bay, marveling at the alien plants that now grew alongside Earth varieties. Dr. Yuki Saito was beside her, excitedly explaining the properties of a luminescent blue fruit. The nutrient density is off the charts, Captain Yuki said, her eyes shining with enthusiasm. And it seems to have mild regenerative properties. If we can successfully cultivate these, it could revolutionize our long-term survival capabilities. Elena nodded, her mind already racing ahead to the challenges they might face. Good work, Doctor. Make sure we have a diverse crop. We don't know what we'll need in the trials to come. As they left the hydroponics bay, Elena's comm chirped. Captain, to the bridge came Commander Tanaka's tense voice. We're picking up some strange readings. When Elena arrived on the bridge, she found the crew gathered around the main view screen, their faces a mix of awe and apprehension. On the screen, a massive structure was taking shape against the backdrop of space. It looked like an enormous, multifaceted crystal, each face reflecting starlight in dazzling patterns. What am I looking at? Elena asked, her voice hushed. Zarek's holographic form shimmered into existence beside her. That, Captain, is what we believe to be an artifact of the cosmic architects. We've detected similar structures in other parts of the galaxy, always in regions where civilizations are being tested. Elena's eyes narrowed as she studied the massive construct. And what exactly does it do? We're not entirely sure, Zarek admitted, but based on our observations, we believe it's some kind of nexus, a point where realities converge. We think it might be the key to the next stage of the test. As if on cue, the artifact began to pulse with energy. Streams of light erupted from its facets, weaving together to form what looked like a shimmering portal. "Captain," Malik's voice came over the comm, tinged with urgency. "That thing is putting out more energy than a dozen stars. Whatever it's doing, it's big." Elena took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. "All hands, atoll stations. We don't know what's coming through that portal, but we need to be ready for anything." The crew sprang into action, the air thick with tension. Weapons were charged, shields raised, and every sensor on the ship was focused on the enigmatic artifact. Suddenly, the portal flared brightly, and a fleet of ships began to emerge. But these were unlike anything they had ever seen before. Each vessel seemed to shift and change as they watched, their forms fluid and otherworldly. "My God," Tanaka whispered. "What are they?" Zarek's hologram flickered, its colors shifting rapidly in what Elena had come to recognize as extreme agitation. This is unprecedented. Those ships, they're not just from another part of the galaxy. They're from another reality entirely. Elena's mind raced, trying to process the implications. The cosmic architects, they're not just testing our ability to fight. They're testing our ability to adapt to the completely unknown. As if in response to her words, a transmission cut through their communications. The voice that came through was unlike anything they had ever heard, simultaneously beautiful and terrifying, its words barely comprehensible. "Beings of this reality," the voice intoned, "you stand at the crossroads of existence. Prove your worth, or be found wanting. The fate of your universe hangs in the balance." Elena looked around at her crew, seeing the fear in their eyes, but also the determination. They had come so far, faced so much. This was the moment that would define not just their mission, but the future of humanity and perhaps their entire reality. "Zarek," Elena said, her voice steady despite the turmoil in her mind. "Can we communicate with them?" The alien's hologram shimmered uncertainly. "We can try, Captain. But their mode of thought, their very existence, it's so alien. I'm not sure we can find common ground." Elena nodded, her jaw set. "We have to try. If we can't communicate, we can't hope to understand their test, let alone pass it." She turned to her communications officer. "Open a channel. Let's show these cosmic architects what humanity is made of." As the channel opened, Elena took a deep breath. The fate of everything they knew hung on what she said next. But as she looked around at her crew, at the allies they had made on this incredible journey, she felt a surge of confidence. "Unknown beings," she began, her voice clear and strong. "We are the crew of the Prometheus, representatives of humanity and allies of the Galactic Consortium. We come in peace, seeking understanding and cooperation." There was a moment of tense silence. Then the otherworldly voice returned, its tone inscrutable. "Peace, understanding. These concepts intrigue us. Perhaps there is more to your kind than we anticipated. Prepare yourselves, beings of this reality. The true test begins now." With those ominous words, the alien fleet began to advance. But they didn't attack. Instead, the ships began to emit complex patterns of energy, weaving a tapestry of light and power around the Prometheus and its allies. "Captain," Dr. Sato called out, her voice filled with wonder and fear. "These energy patterns, they're changing the very fabric of space-time around us. I think they're trying to communicate on a fundamental level of reality itself." Elena's mind raced. This was far beyond anything they had prepared for, but as she watched the mesmerizing display, an idea began to form. "Malik," she called to engineering, "can we use our antimatter reactor to respond, to create our own patterns?" There was a pause, then Malik's excited voice came back. "It's crazy, Captain, but it just might work. Give me a few minutes to recalibrate the reactor." As Malik worked, Elena turned to her crew. "This is it," she said, her voice filled with determination. "Everything we've been through, everything we've learned, it's all led to this moment. We're not just fighting for humanity anymore. We're fighting for our entire reality. Let's show these cosmic architects what we're made of. The crew nodded, their faces set with resolve, as the alien energy patterns swirled around them, changing the very nature of space and time. The Prometheus prepared to make its stand. The final test had begun, and the fate of everything they knew hung in the balance. A new dawn for humanity. The space around the Prometheus pulsed with otherworldly energies as Malik worked feverishly to recalibrate the antimatter reactor. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood at the center of the bridge, her eyes fixed on the swirling patterns created by the interdimensional fleet. "Reactor ready, Captain." Malik's voice crackled over the comm. "But I've got to warn you, we're in uncharted territory here. One wrong move, and we could tear a hole in the fabric of reality itself." Elena took a deep breath. "Understood, Malik. We'll have to risk it. Begin transmission." The Prometheus hummed as the antimatter reactor sprang to life, channeling its immense power into a complex array of energy patterns. At first, the patterns seemed chaotic, a pale imitation of the alien tapestry surrounding them. But as Malik fine-tuned the output, guided by Dr. Sato's rapid-fire analysis, their transmission began to take shape. "Look," Commander Tanaka exclaimed, pointing at the view screen. The alien fleet had paused its advance, their own energy patterns shifting in response to the Prometheus's transmission. "They're listening." Zayek's hologram flickered with excitement. "Captain, I believe you've opened a dialogue." Elena leaned forward, her heart racing. "Dr. Sato, what are we saying to them?" Yuki's fingers flew over her console as she interpreted the complex interplay of energies. "It's not exactly language as we understand it, Captain. We're communicating in fundamental concepts, mathematics, physics, the basic building blocks of reality itself." As they watched, the energy patterns from the alien fleet began to intertwine with their own, creating a breathtaking display of light and power. Suddenly, the enigmatic voice of the cosmic architects resonated through the ship once more. "Fascinating," it intoned, its otherworldly cadence tinged with what might have been curiosity. "You grasp the foundations of existence, yet you build upon them in ways we had not anticipated. Perhaps there is more to learn from your reality than we had thought." The energy patterns intensified, and Elena felt a strange sensation, as if her consciousness was expanding beyond the confines of her body. She could sense her crew experiencing the same thing, their minds linking not just with each other, but with the alien intelligences beyond. In that moment of cosmic connection, understanding flowed like a river. The cosmic architects were not cruel overlords, but curious explorers seeking to nurture and challenge young civilizations. Their tests were not meant to destroy, but to push species to their limits, to spark evolutionary leaps in consciousness and capability. "We see now," the voice of the architects echoed in their minds. "Your species, humans, possesses a unique blend of logic and intuition, of scientific understanding and creative problem-solving. You have the potential to bridge realities, to bring new perspectives to the cosmic tapestry." As the connection faded, Elena found herself back on the bridge, her crew looking around in wonder and confusion. The interdimensional fleet had withdrawn, the massive crystalline artifact pulsing with a soft, welcoming light. "Captain," Zayek's hologram shimmered with awe. I believe we've passed the test. More than that, we've changed the nature of the test itself." Elena nodded, still processing the profound experience. "We've opened a door, not just for humanity, but for our entire reality. The question is, are we ready to step through it?" Over the next few days, the crew of the Prometheus worked tirelessly alongside their consortium allies and the enigmatic cosmic architects. They learned that the crystalline artifact was indeed a nexus, a gateway to other realities and dimensions. It offered opportunities for exploration and advancement beyond their wildest dreams. As they prepared for their next great leap into the unknown, Elena gathered her crew for one final address. "When we left Earth," she began, her voice filled with emotion, "we were seeking a new home for humanity. What we found is something far greater, a new place for humanity in the cosmic order. We've proven that our species has something unique to offer, not just to our galaxy, but to the very fabric of reality itself. She looked around at her crew, seeing the pride and determination in their eyes. Our mission has changed. We are no longer just explorers or colonists. We are ambassadors for our entire reality, tasked with bridging the gap between dimensions and fostering understanding across the cosmic tapestry. It won't be easy, she continued. The challenges ahead are beyond anything we've faced before, but I've seen what this crew is capable of. I've seen the strength of the human spirit, the power of our creativity and determination. Together, with our allies old and new, I believe we can forge a future brighter than any we could have imagined. As Elena finished speaking, a cheer erupted from the crew. They had come so far, faced so much, and emerged stronger for it. The Prometheus, once a simple colony ship, had become a beacon of hope for all of humanity and beyond. With a sense of anticipation and wonder, they prepared to take their first steps into a new era of cosmic exploration and cooperation. The artifact's portal shimmered invitingly, a gateway to infinite possibilities. Captain Elena Rodriguez took her place at the helm, her voice steady as she gave the order that would change the course of human history forever. Take us through. The Prometheus glided forward, its crew united in purpose and spirit. As they crossed the threshold into the unknown, they carried with them the hopes and dreams of their species, ready to write the next chapter in humanity's grand cosmic adventure. And so, the journey that began as a quest for a new home ended with humanity finding its true place among the stars, not just as inhabitants of a single planet or galaxy, but as vital threads in the grand, infinite tapestry of the cosmos.